And am I going to get a thumbs up back? Letting me... Oh, I got a thumbs up, which means that the show has begun. And my name is Sam Irvin. And now I'm addressing this camera right in front of me for the first time. And my guests can shuffle in secretively as I do my opening spiel. This is Asheville 8 Note, the video podcast. It's both a video and a podcast. That's available now. This one is available presently because it's a live stream that I do every Wednesday. I host it. My name is Sam Irvin, and it's the show where I have different Asheville musician guests on to chat for an hour and jam for an hour. I do the show to why do I do the show? Oh yeah, to be creative for creative's sake. Creativity's sake, just for fun, carve out some time to, be goofy and play music and chat about music, and also to build community. I'm excited to have the Genaros on today, Jim and Karen, who just opened up a new event space in West Asheville, The Well. They're here to talk about everything that's in store for that new... it's not a store, though. That would have been a great joke if...
There is a small store attached to it.
Good.
It's not our store, though. So.
I'm excited to hear about everything that's in store.
It's near store more than in store.
Okay, gotcha. Right. Mountain Magic is right next door.
Yes.
But I digress. That was reason number 2. Community, catching up with old friends, meeting new people. I haven't met Karen yet. I have met Jim. And reason number 3, to test, or to practice using all my AV equipment and practice mixing different kinds of live music. Again, we'll be playing some synths later. We'll be playing some music later. I said that. I didn't say that we'll be playing synths later, but now I'm saying it. I know Jim from Moog, and maybe we'll get Karen tickling some synths too.
We'll
but
see.
Maybe it's a big maybe. Today... everybody, I'm trying out this new camera angle, so my guests don't have to shuffle on. You did have to shuffle on awkwardly, but not on camera, but only on Instagram Live. I digress. My opening spiel is coming to an. Oh yeah, I test all the AV equipment, and part of that is making sure that I'm audible by monitoring myself right there, and it is coming through loud and clear. I'm excited about that. I also want to say up top that there's a Patreon for Irvin Music Studio that you could check out to support the show, or you could like or subscribe on YouTube, where you can also check out past episodes that I've edited a little bit and put a better mix up. I'm about 3 weeks behind on each episode doing that. That's what the podcasts are too, the mixed versions. So the Patreon and the YouTube page, and that it's a podcast, and that you can comment and we'll see them. We'll see your comments if you want to talk to us right now, and if they're, well, I might forget to look at them, but if they're particularly funny and we remember to see them, we might bring them up, and maybe we know you. Okay, so now this is the big reveal where I change camera angles and see if this works out for the first time. So I'm really excited, and it's gonna happen in just one moment here. Oh no, you guys, it's not working. Okay, wait, it's working. Okay, great. Now I think in theory the camera angle's changed. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here and for putting up with my spiel up top.
Thanks for inviting us.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, it's us.
It did. Yeah, it worked.
All right.
We look great, I think. We're centered. The camera angle changes every now and then. So I know you from Moog,
Yes.
but now you're starting sort of a new venture.
Yes. So we just opened, we're in the process of opening right now a new space in West Asheville called The Well, and it is a community center, a venue. It's not a huge space. It holds about 30 people, and but we have different kinds of events, from things related to music and concerts. Sound baths are turning out to be a big thing. We have several people that are offering these kind of meditative sessions where you are surrounded by various instruments and sounds, and then other like workshops and things like that. So
Yeah, that's cool. And you guys are going for it together, right?
We are, yeah. I like to refer to it as a metaphysical fitness center. We are having a lot of music, but the overall, kind of vision with the place is there's a lot of spirit being drawn in, a lot of healing work. I work as a massage therapist and body worker, and I've done that for a long time. So I have a space where I'm doing that. I do readings as well, and so we're bringing in that and getting some new readers too. So all this is coming in. So the music's great, and we want more of that. But we are kind of, even with that, trying to largely focus on things that are more, healing or spiritual, or we are casting a wide net, but that's sort of the vibe. I would say. Would you agree with that?
yeah.
Yeah, I guess with a lower capacity, you have to be very intentional about what you're doing.
Yes.
Right. About curating the events, I guess. Yeah. And that's cool that there's massage. I love my massage therapist. I'd
Great.
be just one big knot without her, like a garlic knot.
You want to shout out to your massage therapist?
Yes, my massage therapist is Jamie Carlson.
Nice.
Yeah, she's great. But I haven't had much experience with like readings or tarot readings or anything like that. I know music is typically like an evening time thing. Are these other activities like gonna take up more of like the daytime? I'm curious
They
about
will.
that.
We're also having different workshops and that kind of thing going on. So, yeah, do you want to talk about some of those coming up?
Yeah, there's a lot of workshops during the day. There's the reading room is like kind of a separate room, so in theory there could be stuff going on at different times. There could be different things going on at the same time. I feel like we'd be remiss not to mention the sound bed, because it's
I was
it's
going there,
really,
but yeah, go for it.
it's a really fun, very cool thing. So there's a friend of ours named Michael Conroy who does he does a lot of really neat stuff. But one of the things that he's been working with is using transducers that are built into a bed to essentially massage you with sound that is it's conducted directly through the bed.
Okay, interesting.
So picture like you're laying on just like a standard massage table, and you have headphones on that's playing like the mids and the highs, and then all of the low end bass is being moved through your body directly, and it really is like getting a massage with sound. And then combining that with massage. So
do you want to talk about your experience the other night?
well, I don't know, no.
That was really unfair.
No,
I should say he had a powerful session.
It's really like it's honestly like it's really intense. Like it can be just very like kind of healing and stuff, but I think for me I had kind of like a
a little bit of a healing crisis reaction.
Where it was I felt great after, like the next day I felt really good, but it's interesting how much sound can actually affect your body, like, and that's something that we're definitely
is it
focused on a lot there.
Is it like like when a massage chair goes too hard or something, where it was physically like tickling to a point that was overwhelming?
Well, the whole thing is very like
I think it's very relaxing.
Tickling is not the right word. It's
I think it feels great. I don't know. I like vibrators in general, so of all types. But sorry, but I think it's awesome. It feels great. We've been
getting back to the show.
I could be talking about anything.
That's true. That's vague enough. I've taken the brave stance of not censoring any of my guests. You guys can say whatever you want.
Cool. We might be the first.
That's a first for sure. I'm curious about it though, and is it something that you can friend of the show? I should mention that you're a friend of the show because you've been on before. And one of the early eps, I think. I don't know which ep though. We should look it up.
Okay.
Maybe not
That's
right now.
That's like a thing. Actually, I have I have like two other friends who I was like, the first person on their podcast, and I think I'm like the guy you go to when you don't really have anybody you actually want on your show. And I kind of, like I make it easy to, plug somebody in.
No, I really wanted you on the show. I should have talked you up more, but I don't know Karen, so I didn't want to like be like, Jim, he's great at Moog. He's
No, it's okay. I didn't even know we were
curious."
doing this until I think you vaguely mentioned it in passing, and then like last night, I think when I say last night, I mean like 4 a.m. or something. I think you were like, oh yeah, we have that thing tomorrow.
like in his
So-
sleep, like by the
Oh no, we were awake.
No,
it was weird.
We were awake.
Yeah, it was weird. Night.
There's a lot that goes into like getting the space open, and we're also ramping
yeah.
up our other big event, which is Surreal Circus, this festival we do in October.
Yeah.
So it's a
Got
little
the
bit of a
t-shirt.
zany time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool t-shirt.
Shameless marketing. Here.
It's okay. I have my sign here. It's not on camera anymore, but it was at the beginning.
And I'm rocking my my
Yeah.
in music shirt.
That's right. Oh,
We don't call it a Moog shirt anymore. This is an in music shirt.
I wasn't looking at it when you said that earlier. That is funny. Moog, a subsidiary of In Music. Is
Yes.
that technically
I-
correct?
I think that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. A different era.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting because the well came up at the same, like, we had been looking to do something like this for a while, and
Yeah, tell me the story. But also I want to ask
sorry.
and no, pardon me. Excuse me. I'm sorry to step on you. But you had curated a lot of events at this previous space, The Landing, right? Did you
Yeah.
live there? And did you live there?
I have
I never
lived
lived there. He's lived there.
It-
Yeah.
but most
He's
of the time
a founder.
I've not lived
He's
there.
like
Yeah.
a charter member of the Landing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if there is a charter, but he's whatever that
There's
is.
no
yeah.
charter,
No.
but
He's the
Like
founder.
robes.
there's just a lot of
Secret
there's a lot of
meetings.
Google documents, but there's not a charter per se. No. So the kind of short version about The Landing is about 15 years ago. I was part of a group of people that took over this kind
Oh,
of.
also, I'm sorry. You were episode 23.
Oh.
Just
Okay.
thought that was important to
I
interject.
was then, or
You were then. This
What
is
episode is this?
79.
Oh,
Okay.
wow, you're
Yeah,
really coming
right.
along here.
it's been a lot since then.
All right, now I'll let you tell the story, maybe.
Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, I don't have to.
No, I do want to hear the origin of the well.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I was starting. Well, yeah. So I've had this other space for a long time. That is, I've been involved with for about 15 years. It's called The Landing, and specifically for the past 5 years, I've been curating a part of The Landing that's called the Oracle, which is a kind of sound and spirituality space. So like. Different kinds of things would go on there, from small concerts to like yoga classes and things like that. We have been looking for a spot for a while because the landlord was or the lease was coming up, and it's not really clear if the landlord's gonna raise the rent drastically, and it has a lot of
On the landing?
on the Landing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Landing landlord.
And it's been there for a long time.
Yeah, it's been there 15 years.
Yeah.
And one of the problems with it is it's also like a residential space. So trying to do things where you have events going on, but also there are residents, and it kind of creates this weird tension about like how the space is used. And for just a variety of reasons, we were looking for another space, and then I guess about 2 months ago, we saw that there was a storefront opening on Haywood Road that we thought, well, maybe that could be it. And the property manager is like showing us around, brings us in, and it's basically like it's pretty bad shape. There's like giant piles of exposed asbestos.
That's
And,
bad.
yeah, I was like,
That's
I don't
bad.
really
That's
want to
bad.
be in this room, so we kind of like slowly backing out. But then when we told him what we were doing, this guy was like, "Oh, you need to meet these other people at the property next door, because they're looking for someone who wants to do what you're doing." And so we meet. We go to this place. It's called Mountain Magic, and this couple, Melinda and Walden
Rains.
Rains. God, I'm sorry. Melinda and Walden Rains. You can just edit that out.
Yeah.
Just edit out the live stream.
Sure.
Uh,
I'll edit it live. I already did.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent. So Walden and Melinda, they're a really neat couple. They moved here, I guess, about a year ago, and took this old. So it used to be a wig shop back in the day. In fact, I think it was an empty wig shop for about 10 years, and sometimes people refer to it as the wig prison because it had like bars on the window,
and wigs. Yeah.
Okay.
like mannequin heads
Yeah.
behind bars. And it was this kind of like weird, like, what is that space really all about?
That's so funny. I didn't know about that wig shop, but there was the wig shop downtown too.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a lot of wig shops around
Right.
back in the day.
I do know what was up with the wig shop downtown is that it was like they catered to like strippers. They
Oh,
they did.
okay,
They
I
sold
didn't know
like for years and years that was a mystery. Like, how is this wig shop downtown? And then I knew someone who was I'm sorry, I don't know if that it's not the right word. The exotic dancer.
yes.
Yes, whatever. Anyway, yeah. Apparently that's how they at least for a while stayed open. This was just like empty though. This
Did
was
they
just
go through a lot of wigs?
I don't. Apparently, like it was just vacant
slinging
for
them
10
off,
years, but
maybe.
there were wigs just like in this on these mannequins. I don't know. So anyway, this couple opens up like a witch shop. Like they sell stuff like tarot decks and herbs and crystals and it's actually like it's a beautiful little shop. Like it's kind of tucked away. A lot of people haven't been in it yet, but everyone who goes in there is like, oh, this is beautiful. But they turned this wig shop into like like kind of a magic shop, and I like to joke that it's a wigs to witches story.
That's good stuff.
That's
Yeah.
I tell a joke about once a day. But
Good. We're not talking about like the political party, the Whigs.
no,
No.
'Cause they were rich already, I think.
right. Yeah, like them. Like I feel like them and the Tories were kind of in competition. Maybe were they the same? I don't know.
I think they were vying for power.
They were, yeah, Whigs and Tories were like, yeah.
I
different
forget
groups
which
of old
one was
white
which
guys.
or what the
I don't know.
what the problem was.
I think they still have Tories though, if I'm right. Anyway, I don't know a
I
lot
remember
about
Hume
British
was one
politics,
of them. Yeah.
but
Mountain Magic, that's good branding.
yeah, and like seriously, like it's if you're into that kind of thing, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a small retail space, but they do a lot with what they have in there, and it's beautiful.
Karen, that's some of the work that you do, right? Reading.
Yes, I do,
tarot.
and Melinda also, who was one of the original two there, does readings as well. We're also going to be bringing in Bobby Rose starting next Tuesday, and she's phenomenal. So
Okay.
if anybody knows Bobby Rose, you already know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I don't. So did you
yeah.
see this shop and have respect for it right away? Like,
Well,
with
so
your
it was
knowledge?
already on my radar because I was kind of like wanting to carve out time to find a place to do readings. I've done that in the past, professionally, but then had not been kind of stopped doing it in COVID, and then was like doing a little bit, but I was like, oh, I really want to like make this more part of what I'm doing right now. And so that was how we originally heard about the store, because he found a flyer that probably a few months before we went over there that kind of had their information. So it was on our radar. I hadn't like quite made it over there, but it was one of those things like, oh, next week I'm definitely gonna go check this place out, and just hadn't made it down there yet. So I already knew about the store. It was a place that honestly, it was a little bit like when he first showed me the flyer, I had this reaction like, oh, somebody did the thing we wanted to do. Somebody did my dream. So, so you just had that little twinge of, oh, I didn't get my shit together and like do this thing, but somebody else did. But then I was like, well, maybe we can be a part of it, or maybe I can be a part of it and do some readings there, and that'll be great. And so that was that was already on my radar. And then when this happened, it was just like, Oh yeah, it's this place. Of course it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Walden and Melinda said they had also kind of just they're very magical people, you can imagine, and they had put out to the universe specifically that they were looking for a couple to come in and take over some parts of the business so that they could focus on their store.
That was my next
So
question. Since it's so metaphysically focused, do you guys think it
yeah,
was fate that
it
you're
was
brought
fate.
into
I think
this
it was.
There's
position?
definitely, there was some synchronicity
Yeah.
about the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It was like, I guess within like the week of them deciding that they wanted to do that, we
We just turned up.
showed up
Yeah.
looking really for something
Wow,
else.
nice.
And,
Yeah.
and the property manager of the place introduced us, and so part of, so they had this community room. They were doing events. We still have workshops that are regular events that were happening while they were there. I
Mhm.
mean, during that they had already established, and but they're sort of new to the area, so they don't have as much community and connections in the Asheville community. So I think they were kind of struggling with like running the retail space and booking events and having these things. And it's one thing we have sort of in abundance is a lot of community and connections. So we, yeah, pretty much just decided right then and there to do it and leave the
Mhm.
landing. And that was the middle of July that we signed the lease, and we've been packing it out with events.
That's so exciting. Yeah, let's
That's
get
really
practical
exciting.
with like the
Yeah.
logistics and how are you deciding what goes into it, and especially on the music front. I guess listening, doing readings, maybe we could draw parallels to music about how you have to listen. And I guess there's some creativity in your intuition
Absolutely.
as you are,
Absolutely. Yeah.
expressing maybe this articulation
Yeah, well,
of
it's a
something.
story comes together, a story comes together. So there's a lot of I don't know if I think there is some creativity involved. You're not making up a story as much as like you're figuring out there are pieces of the story, and you're like, oh, how does this fit together for this person? So yeah, there is an aspect to that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that. Like you can only place like it's limited in the same way. It limited in that it has to be specific to that person in the same way that like what you can play on a guitar is,
That's interesting.
limited
Yeah.
in a way.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Drawing.
Yeah.
We're making it work. Yeah.
Yeah, we're making it work.
Yeah, but well, I think I mentioned his name and then didn't go anywhere with it earlier, but Paul Gaeta, friend of
Yeah.
the show, is performing on
Friday,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
So excited.
Otorongo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a great
And apparently
musician.
that means jaguar. Is this true?
That is, yeah.
Okay. Do you know why he chose that as?
Or is it Panther? Because
It's Panther.
Okay, I saw jaguar online, but whatever he wants
I
it to
think
be,
you're
I'm
like,
gonna go with.
I think you're
Okay.
right. I think
And
it's
those might be
Jaguar,
the
but
same thing. I'm not
It's
totally
confusing
sure.
me
Yeah.
because he like Panther. He has another project that Are we gonna look this up?
Oh, definitely.
I feel like if
Okay.
I saw a jaguar
Oh, it
and
is
a panther.
jaguar.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
Jaguar.
gosh.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know the difference.
He used to
necessarily.
create more
Okay.
heavy beats under the name Panther God.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
wow,
kinda like-
that's
he's
kinda
like doing
bold.
the,
Okay, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
doing like
Switch,
the
switch
Panther
feline.
God. Yeah. Okay.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the
Good for Paul.
OS 10 operating systems for a while. They were going through all the cats, so it was
Oh.
like they had like little nicknames for like
Is this true, or are you just making
yeah,
shit
no,
up?
I-
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
maybe I'm dating myself here. Early versions of the Apple operating system 10, they were like OS 10.7 Jaguar or something.
But that's really where the name for him came from. Is what I'm asking.
No,
okay.
he's
no,
not.
no.
okay.
Okay.
I think Paul's just really into cats. I
Okay.
don't know.
No, I am so
does seem
interested.
like more of a
I'm
cat
really
guy.
looking forward to Friday.
Yeah, no, it's going to
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah.
So his thing is like kind of a fusion of like acoustic instruments where he plays a lot of different flutes, different kind of traditional flutes of various cultures, and then and like singing bowls, but he also does synthesizers, and he works at the Moog store with me. He's actually my boss at the Moog store, and he's real he has a very how do I say, it's like he's a very sensitive like approach to music. I think he's he's doing stuff that's very subtle and ambient and really like thoughtful. So I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I don't know Paul well, but he seems like a deep dude in a lot of ways, and maybe not like surface ways. Like you might not just like encounter him at the store and see it, but there's something there. I'm really, yeah, it's gonna be good.
Totally,
Everybody should come out.
I agree with you. He's a phenomenal roller skater.
I did not know this.
It's
about Paul.
wild.
Really?
I went roller skating
Wow.
with him, like at a roller rink, and he's just like spinning around and busting moves.
That's
and
amazing.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe that
Wow,
can-
you don't
that's
even.
a
How
whole
well do you
other-
even know this
No,
guy?
yeah. I mean, I've worked closely with Paul for like 3 years, and I
Years, yeah.
don't think I knew that he was. I think this is the first time I've heard that he roller skates.
It blew my mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he also, yeah, and he plays like really beautiful sort of ambient flutes and stuff. He's got a new album out, and he'll be doing some of the stuff from that. But he's kind of doing like a sound bath. So like, all right, the sound bath thing. I've kind of mentioned this a couple times, and I don't know like how. Like, to be honest, like I've never actually been to a sound bath except for the one I
Yeah, you
did.
just did one.
I did, yeah, I was
That
like,
brave.
I'm
yeah.
gonna Google
I've never
this.
been to one, but
I
I, think
feel
I'm
like
just,
this
I
is-
can do it. Yeah,
I think this is what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do. So I don't know if I did a proper sound bath.
you
per se.
did. It was amazing.
But the idea is that you have like people kind of like lay down or they meditate, and then they have sounds moving around them, and it's kind of it's like a live concert for people to meditate to, that's supposed to be healing, or at least induce like a altered state. And I don't play like singing bowls or any of those kind of like it's a lot of like traditional like crystal singing bowls and things.
Gong.
Gongs. Yeah,
Oh, we want gong. We
you
want a
gotta
big
get one of
gong,
those.
and then we want some
Yeah.
smaller gongs, but we really want a big gong. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna fill that place with gongs.
Yeah, this is the
if
kind of thing
can.
we sit around talking about, like
Yeah,
the
what do we
gong we're
need?
gonna have someday, and yeah.
Yeah.
Lava lamp. Is that too old school?
I don't know.
No,
Well,
not
it's
that-
fine. Paul did get a lava lamp for the store, so there's one.
Oh, cute.
We could
Okay.
borrow the lava lamp.
Okay.
But no, I don't know.
That
I
occurred to me.
I can appreciate a lava lamp.
Yeah, I do too.
But,
I do too.
no, I don't think we're gonna get a lava lamp.
I felt the hesitation there. Yeah, it's not right
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
vibe.
It's just a little. Yeah, I don't know.
I can imagine like some theme
Hacky.
party that might have some lava lamps going on. But
Like a Scooby Doo theme or something.
maybe.
You could
I
have
don't
like
know.
yeah.
Any well-oriented things? Like, are you guys gonna secretly drill a hole? deep
There's
into the
talk.
ground?
There's talk.
So yeah, so the actual, so there's a couple things. So and like with the well, like we went back and forth on the name. We were at one point it was going to be the Cauldron, which would give it like a more kind of specifically witchy aesthetic. But then we found out some friends of ours actually have a
Cauldron Theater.
yeah, Cauldron Theater. So like, oh, not that.
Mhm.
And then the well kind of came out of that, and it was like, oh, that's like deeper, literally, like that's like deeper than a cauldron, right? The well's like the source.
Yeah, and it
so-
was kind of fun because we
Yeah.
both came to it. Like so for his birthday, one of the things we did was we went to is it Still Point and did like the
flotation tank.
yeah flotation tank.
Oh,
And so
cool.
So anyway, when we came out after that, and it was like right after, I think the day before, we'd found out that the cauldron was taken, and we were a little bit bummed, but we were like, well, maybe that wasn't the right thing. And but yeah, we'd both apparently been like in our heads just thinking about the well, or I was thinking about like the wishing well, but that didn't seem quite right. And so anyway, like after we get out of these flotation tanks and we were going to lunch or whatever, and start talking about it, and then we were both like, this is coming up. This, the well and the wishing. I was thinking the wishing well, but that's not quite right. And he was like, I think the well. And so it's like, okay, this is the one.
Okay, I was hoping that you were gonna say one of you was like, well. and
Well,
then-
yeah,
Well,
no,
it's also like it's a little play on words with like wellness.
Wellness,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, I do
Yeah.
like
Like,
that.
the source of
angle.
wellness
Yeah.
comes from
Yeah.
like
Double
being
entendre.
connected to your
Mhm.
roots, and to your source.
Well
and-
ancestors, and and then also just kind of thinking about the well as a community center, like back in there were days when not everyone had running water, but there was like a community well, and people would gather there, and sometimes some cultures they would gather there specifically for holy days at the well, and so that kind of thing. So it worked on a lot of different levels for us. We like it a lot.
I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
but to answer your question, I do want to put in a water feature, and
Yeah.
the thing I've been really wrestling with. So the well, it's right in the heart of downtown West Asheville, and if you've been down Haywood Road anytime in the past few years, there's a pretty sizable homeless population there, and it's it's part of living in a city, and a lot of places these days. But one of the things that I have thought about, we've talked about, and I think the challenge would be like the logistics with the city and stuff, but it would be to have some kind of like a water
source
station,
of clean
like
water, so that people
you
would
could
have access
drink
to
water.
that. Yeah.
Because I think that one of the challenges of living on the streets is like, where do you get water from? Like dehydration, and contributes to a lot of the problems that some of the unhoused folks have. And
That makes sense. It's really generous, because I think especially maybe downtown there are a couple places to go, but I'm not sure about West Asheville, like on Haywood.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Like
don't know
I
either.
mean, I feel like you'd have to
Yeah.
go into a restaurant and ask for water and stuff, and that probably is
Not
not
gonna
always
work
met
out
with
Yeah, it was kind of funny because when we were going with the cauldron, I think possibly the thing we were most excited about is we wanted to have like a day a month that we just had like a soup truck come out, and and just have like a big cauldron of,
actual
of
cauldron.
soup
Okay.
that
yeah.
people could come get some soup, and anybody that wanted soup could come get some soup. And so it was funny because I feel like that was like the thing we were the most attached to about that name.
Yeah, it
And
was.
but then we were like, well, we can't, we could do some soup. Maybe we will do some soup, but it won't be like this thing. But we could also do the water. And yeah.
But then
Yeah.
you run into like issues with
Yeah.
zoning
This may or may
and
not happen, that's what
city
we're saying.
things. But there's actually a
Yeah.
really cool place just down the road called 12 Baskets
Mhm.
that gets like food that's going to be discarded from restaurants, and then has like kind of a free restaurant that they encourage people, not just the unhoused population, but like people of all, they're actually specifically looking for people regardless of your economic status to come and like eat
Yeah, come have
together
lunch.
and like create community that as the person who founded it was saying, like transcends the whole like haves and have nots. But it's a cool thing that's going on right near there. But maybe we'll get our water distribution thing together. I don't know.
I hope so. That's a cool idea. I'll have to check out 12 Baskets.
Yeah, we want to check that out. I didn't really know. I'd seen it, but I didn't know what it was, and it came up last night, and we watched like a TED talk on it, and we were both just like, "Oh, well done. This is a thing we want to support." So yeah, we're actually planning to kind of look into that and maybe have them come over and do a program and let people know that that's going on. Maybe everybody even knew that was going on, but I didn't.
So
Yeah.
I do want to hear what is actually. I'm gonna talk right into this mic. Oh my gosh, it's so different. What is actually going on
At the well.
at the well? What's on the books? But
Yeah.
also, I want to say that I see a comment over there on Instagram, but it's too far away for me to actually read. But I see a little heart, and so I'm just gonna say hello.
Somebody likes
Thanks for
something.
watching. Yeah, so somebody.
I feel like they like the 12 Baskets, maybe, because that's something to like. Maybe not. Maybe it's something
Okay,
totally
heart
different. Yeah.
once if you like the 12 Baskets, heart twice if you like. No, I don't know. Because we really can't see what you're
Kids,
saying.
yeah.
It's too far away, but you could get on YouTube and comment there, and then we'll see that.
Did you want to hear about what's
Yeah, what's on the
happening?
calendar?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how well, maybe run through what's on the calendar, and then I want to hear how did you decide on those people?
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about what they do?
Yeah.
What and are you gonna play music there?
Yes. So this the big things coming up. So Friday we do have Odorongo, which is going to be awesome and sort of more on the ambient side. Saturday is our grand opening, and I'm playing music at that. My solo project Logos is like an electronic dance music thing, so I'm going to be doing a set. We're going to have other sort of guest artists yet to be announced coming in, and
We have that workshop earlier. You can circle back. to
yeah,
that,
there's a
yeah,
work
the
that
quanticism with Bill.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
one of the ones, and we haven't actually attended it or anything. There's a guy who does like kind of a quantum physics and spirituality
Mhm.
workshop.
He's a regular. It looks like a very interesting time.
It has a pretty good turnout for
Yeah.
these things. There's a guy who does a regular workshop there and this is coming up too. I think like early in the month where he discusses various like psychedelic substances and kind of like prepping people to use them. So that's a thing that's been going on since before we took over the space. And then we have We Are Ants to Them playing on the 2nd. Oh man, I'm gonna have a moment where I have to admit that I don't know how to pronounce Andre's last name. But Andre, do you know who I mean? Andre is like
Is it Gilles or
no? It's like Chum. Sorry, Andre.
I don't know. I'm
So
sorry too, Andre.
he's a feature of sort of like the modular synthesizer world. He's also a guitar tech who has traveled with everyone from like Pat Metheny. He just got done off a tour with Pat Metheny.
Oh yeah,
His guitar tech.
Somebody sent me a video of a Pat Metheny guitar tech. I wonder if it was him, but there was like a crazy instrument with like a bunch of sympathetic strings. This instrument had like 100 strings, and the guitar tech's just holding it up, like frowning. Like
that might have been Andre. No, he has this really cool project called We Are Ants to Them. It's modular synthesizers. He's also playing with Jamie Houghton from the Bottle Shop. I don't know if you've ever do you know that? Do you ever go to the Bottle Shop in West Asheville?
No, I should. They have their synth nights on Wednesdays when I do this live stream.
Oh yeah.
That's a bummer for me.
Going on right now. Yeah. Chris and Jamie are. They have this very cool little beer and wine store that also specializes in synths because they're synth people. So
there's always a couple of like used synths for sale over there, right?
Yep. And then they have the different synth nights and stuff. So there's like some modular synth things that are happening. I'm putting together a show I'm pretty excited about. I don't know if you've ever met Rachel Waterhouse, who's one of her. She plays in a band called Sister Ivy. That's more like a jazz group, but she also has a solo project called Balm, which is phenomenal. It's like loop-based piano and voice, and she does. She's playing a show there with another pianist named Ashley Chambliss, and so we're doing this kind of like piano concert. We got a nice piano in space. I'm really excited about that.
They're both kind of piano singer-songwriter folks, so
yeah, that's cool. I've heard Rachel Waterhouse's name before.
She's phenomenal. I highly recommend catching a Balm set. And then there's a thing that we started doing last month that I'm really excited about, which is we're just calling it Listening at the Well. And the idea is it's a free event. People just get together and we play an album and just listen to an album, and we'll like feature like one artist per month. So this month we are gonna do Nina Simone and like just sit around and listen. And it's it's not like a the thing is like so much.
And then you guys all try to sing it in its entirety afterwards from memory.
Right? Yeah. I'm gonna pretend that I play piano as well as her and bang it out. It's like I think that so much of how we listen to music has really changed. So it's like this kind of isolated thing most of the time where you're listening in headphones or in your car,
or at a show getting bumped and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, shows are different, but it's like I feel like there used to be more of a culture of like people just hanging out listening to a record, and so that's kind of the idea. We did last month because it was right after Sinead O'Connor died. We listened to her album, but
kind of a memorial moment. It was really beautiful. It was
Yeah,
it was a real like Gen X nostalgia kind of going on there. But we're gonna pick really different artists each time and just have like I'll sit down and like listen to something. So if you have any suggestions for like an artist or an album that you think would be fun to like listen to in a group of people on a good sound system.
Oh, okay,
recommendations.
I'm also really excited. I mean, it mentioned Lily Luminous. She's going to be starting a monthly event where it was originally called Sacred Song Circle, but now it's called something else and I don't remember. But something like that, and that's kind of the vibe, where people just get together and sing together. And so, you don't have to be able to play an instrument, and it's really fun for somebody that maybe either can't play an instrument or can't play one well enough to, or doesn't feel like they can play one well enough to like get together and jam, but everybody can use your voice. And so it's, you're not just watching people do a thing, you're there, you're part of it, you're part of the sound, and I'm really excited about that. So we've got that going on Monday the 28th, this coming up in August, and then it's gonna start a different date in October, but that's gonna be a lot of fun.
I've seen her perform.
She's amazing.
And at that event, I was encouraged to sing along with everybody, and it feels so wholesome.
Feels
good.
wholesome. That is a great word.
Very
for
like
it. It's just
affirming lyrics often, where you're like, life is good, or
yeah,
You just feel really good, and like I know that like I can be a little sort of cynical or things like that, and you just have to like when you're sitting in a group of people singing like a song like that together, it's just like you just have to like your ego just has to kind of break down a little bit.
Yes,
totally. You gotta let go.
I'm gonna not care about how silly, like the part of me that feels silly, which is like not a very useful thing really to like that self-consciousness generally gets in the way more than it helps anything.
Yeah, I just live in that tense, anxious space nonstop, and I think it gives me an awkward edge.
You need a session on the sound bed, man. Get a massage from sound waves, and it'll
get overwhelmed.
Does help.
Yeah,
get tickled. Not tickled. We established it's not really like a tickle.
It's not tickly. No, it's very more massage like than tickle like, but. And then the other thing, I just got to shout out for my own thing. So I am, in addition to like playing, I'm going to play some actual shows like on Saturday, but I also I've been exploring this idea of the sound bath, but I'm doing it all with analog synthesizers. So I've got my mostly Moog instruments out, and what was really fun, we just did the first one a couple weeks ago, and I had a quadraphonic sound system where I could kind of make the sound move around the room, and so you'd have different instruments that are moving at different rates, and kind of like sometimes doing things with like when you get into that like kind of 7-8 hertz range, then you're like activating the like theta brainwave states, or you can there's a whole kind of science around that stuff.
Wait, I do want to dig into the technical aspect of this a little bit. So that 6 or 7 hertz. So a hertz is like a hertz
cycle per
donut
second
is 1 cycle per second. 1 hertz is 1 cycle per second. So 6 or 7 is very low. Like we need at least 40 for it to be.
20 is the threshold of like audio. If that,
yeah, that's what I was getting at.
20 to 20. So we can hear between 20 and 20,000 hertz. And that's like an ideal range. Now, in reality, if you're, that's what a 19-year-old can hear. By the time you're 30s, 40s, 50s, you start losing some of that upper range, particularly. But
and I think the lower range is difficult to divine. Sometimes I think like, is this like a or is it a note?
Below,
isn't that sort of?
Yeah, below 20 hertz, and this gets into a thing that like I think this is super fascinating, and I try to talk about this on my tours because I give tours at Moog.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to below 20 cycles a second, this like sound stops being a tone and it starts becoming a rhythm. That so like say you have like a you can hear this on an analog synthesizer, right? So this, like you turn the oscillators down to like the low setting on a mini Moog, it becomes a click because you're just hearing the peak of the waveform, and it's not really a tone anymore. But similarly, like as you start to speed it up, it comes to a point where it becomes, you experience it as a continuous sound. But it's when you start to like really analyze it, it's like rhythms are tones that are slowed down. So and even like rhythmic patterns that we like, so like if you have like a say you have a pattern where you have like a 1 and a 2, you have like your quarter notes and you have eighth notes going at the same time.
Okay, I'll be the quarter note.
All right, so if we did that and you speed that up enough, once you get to the audio rate, what you have is an octave. You have, because it's that same 2-to-1 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
But similarly, like you could take a fifth, and that's a 3-to-2 ratio of frequency, right? So you have like your fundamental, you have twice that is the octave, 3 times that you get your fifth, and so.
All right, let's do 3/2.
Oh man, come on, put me on the spot. I'm not a drummer. This is why I play synthesizers, because I can just quantize it. But what I'm getting at is any harmony is actually like a rhythmic structure also if you slow it down enough.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I think that's
interesting.
That's fun.
I think it's super. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. And you mentioned like specific hertz influencing our brains in different ways.
Right. So your brain brain waves operate on these kind of frequencies that are slower than sound. So like 1 to, I don't know. I'm actually not knowledgeable enough to really like just offhand like tell you like this is alpha, this is beta. The one I know is that like a sort of a meditative brain state is like theta, which is like 7 to 9 hertz. Now that's not, as we said, that's slower than 20. You're not hearing that as a sound. So there's different ways to create that effect. So one of them is binaural beats. So when you have like headphones on, there's like meditation apps that can do this. But it's if you're working with like software, like even just something like Ableton Live, it's easy enough to have 2 oscillators that are very precisely a specific frequency. And what happens is you play, because you can't actually hear 7 hertz, but you can take 2 frequencies that are 7 hertz apart. So say you take 100 hertz and 107 hertz. And what happens is your brain constructs out of that the sum and the difference. And this is like a sort of just a property of our biology and our physics. And so when you hear it, like if you hear them together, you'll actually hear it as kind of a wobble that's in that 7 hertz cycle. But it's more effective when you actually have it in earphones, because it's like your brain does that work of reconstructing it, and it can create like sort of an entrancing state. And there are people doing like very specific work with it. I've definitely done some stuff with it, but
you mentioned auto pan. Are you auto panning stuff in these particular hertz?
Yeah, so that's what one of the things I was doing was I was having sounds move around. And and at that point you're really talking about modulation. You're talking about what in synthesizers we'd call an LFO, a low frequency oscillator. So something that's moving back and forth slower than 20 times a second. That you can hear the effect that it has on sound. You don't hear it as a sound itself, but you can kind of get like frequencies that have that same quality of like kind of putting you into a bit of a trance or a meditative state, or a very alert state if you dial it into like the alpha or whatever and again, this is where I'm trying to like throw out things I don't actually know the exact frequencies of. But
that's interesting to me, and I feel embarrassed, and I do want to clarify. I know it's 20, but I do say 40 because like a lot of speakers don't even put anything out lower than 40.
Yeah, that's an ideal range. Yeah, like plenty of speakers won't go anywhere near 20 hertz. Yeah,
the 40 is like a bass guitar low E string. Like the low string on a guitar is like 82, and so the E below that on a bass guitar is like 41. And so unless you have a bass amp, if you're playing out of something different, you can like hurt the amp, or you can or it'll just sound like really weird, and people will be like, why does my bass sound weird? Well, it's because that particular speaker won't go down to 40.
Yeah.
What are you using to wiggle the auto pan and the other modulation? Are you doing
in
Eurorack
Ableton
stuff?
No, I'm actually just doing it all on Ableton Live. So I have like a interface.
Oh no, it's okay. I know this is what people are coming to this for. So yeah, sorry, I have absolutely nothing to contribute. I'll just sit here silently, but it's interesting.
So in Ableton, I don't know how many versions ago this came out. I think it's a relatively new feature, maybe from Ableton 10 or something. But if you have a multi-channel audio interface, 4, 6, or 8 outputs, you can send those to different speakers, and there's like a device. It's like an auto pan device, and it was a little tricky to set up. Like there were some things that were not super intuitive about it, but once I had it going, you have basically like a little diagram, like a little wheel that has, in this case, 4 speakers. I'm doing quad sound, and then you can kind of move the dot around, and it sort of if it's in the second speaker, you can make it so it's totally just in that speaker, or you can bring it in the middle and it'll kind of go to all of them, and then you can modulate that. And one of the things that was like I had to kind of figure out, because my idea was like I want this to just rotate, but there's not like just a rotate button. Like there's like I kind of wish there probably should be. You probably could do it in Max or something, but so I had to instead take 2 LFOs. So an LFO, for anyone, like I was saying, it's basically like an oscillator that's slower than sound. So if I have 2 oscillators, and it gets into a little bit of like, it's almost, I guess it's like trigonometry or something, but basically if you have like the x-axis being modulated by the same thing as the y-axis, but they're like 25% off, I realized was like the thing that makes it kind of go in a circle. So once you do that, then you have it set up, and then I just map the rate and the depth of both of them to macro. I don't know if I'm getting too granular with this, but
No, I like it.
you basically
I want
the
the show to
effect
go.
is you set it up, and then you get a knob that you can control how fast it moves and how much it's moving relative to like how much it's centered. And so
Do you think that people ever make the mistake in a sound bath of like they're getting all this going, they're binaural beats, different things are happening with, everybody's chill, or ambient music in general, and then you accidentally just shift into like alpha waves and freak
kind
a
of wake
person
everybody
out?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I bet that happens accidentally, right? Because all of these are sort of ratios, like we were saying, like 3/2. Like there are these overtone series that each sound, those overtones are reacting to each other in various ways. And I guess ideally you would want all of those to be some, I don't know, multiple of the sleepy, the beta waves, and not the alpha waves or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's music where that's done real intentionally. I think I don't know if I've mentioned the last time we were on the podcast, but I've worked somewhat, and I've been involved with the psytrance world, which is like a sort of
Yeah.
very like kind of obscure offshoot of
That's my psytrance
electronic dance music that is really meant for like hypnotic dancing and going into trance states. But there's really interesting things about like the BPM. When you have like a 16th note at like 140 or something, those 16th notes are happening at like that sort of theta wave state. And then the other things that, there's other things that are like biologically connected. So 140, that's like aerobic exercise rate for your heartbeat. So like if you're dancing to it, it's kind of like your heart should be kind of like in the same range as the music. And so there's these ways that like your body can kind of entrain to it. But I don't know, like you went to UNCA, right?
I did, yeah.
Were you there when Dr. Kirby was there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
I was dancing nonstop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Kirby, he turned me on to a lot of this stuff. He was like the dean of the music department there when I was there, and he was like, he had this whole thing with like biorhythms where he I can't remember the name of his band.
Blondie?
Not Blondie. Yeah, so he was actually so Dr. Wayne Kirby was he wasn't in Blondie. He was in the band that Debbie Harry was in before Blondie, that when they broke up, she started Blondie.
Oh,
so
okay. That's
it's not quite as cool as being in Blondie, but
cool. Yeah.
I mean, he partied with Debbie Harry before she was cool. Before she was famous. She was always cool. Before she was famous. No. I think it was called The Wind in the Willow was his band. I don't know. Doc, if you're watching this, shoot us a message and tell us the name of your old band. Anyway, but he had this him and another guy had this project where they were doing music that mapped to like several different biorhythms. So there's your heartbeat, there's this like brainwave stuff that's very 7-8 hertz or whatever. there's like slower movements, like the fluid in your spinal column circulates on a cycle that I can't remember. It's like maybe every 45 seconds or a minute. And they created music that incorporated all of these different tempos basically. And and I don't know, like does it say
About
supply?
7.5 hours.
Well, that's saying the whole supply can be replaced. I don't know, man. Like, it's one of those things. Like, I didn't do this research.
Cerebrospinal fluid. Yeah, now we're getting deep. This
5 times per 24-hour. Well, anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's very slow, I guess, is the.
It's pretty slow.
About 5 hours. Yeah.
But this is I'm basing this on what Dr. Kirby said, but he had mapped all this stuff out to like different biorhythms. Incidentally, I don't know if you noticed, but he was the one who hired Bob Moog to teach at UNCA.
Oh, okay, cool.
And apparently had to kind of go to bat for him because they didn't want him to teach in the music department because he didn't have a music PhD. His PhD was in physics, but.
Wow.
Bob, yeah.
They made the right choice.
Yeah, well, Dr. Kirby went to bat for Bob. got him a job at UNCA.
For Bob Moog.
Yeah.
I missed Bob Moog being there.
I didn't know. I was came after him too, but
I did take a class called Music and the Human Organism though, and I really enjoyed that. I learned that I guess it's not humans, but cows produce more milk when they listen to Mozart.
I took that class too.
The statistic,
yeah.
Yeah, that was a really cool class. I remember the vagus nerve was like a really big deal.
Yeah. I remember the teacher talked about hurting his ankle, and then his doctor told him to think about threes when he walked, so to like even out his steps, like 1 2 3 1 2 3, so that way he distributed his weight more evenly and it healed faster.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like.
No, like the sound. I mean, obviously, like we're into some kind of woo stuff, but like the sound and its effect on the body is like there's some pretty strong like science behind all of that stuff, and
yeah,
it's
So let's make some music.
All right.
And have an impact on the listeners, the people who listen to it.
All right. Let's do it.
Do you have an inkling if you're going to step in with us or
I
not?
still don't know.
Oh, okay. I like it. We'll leave it a mystery.
We'll get you set up with something that's yeah, the thing about synthesizers is like you don't actually have to know what you're doing. They sound good anyway.
You just start.
Yeah, so it's funny because we have all these synthesizers, and I've never played one once, and it's not that I'm not curious, but I'm totally afraid I'll just like break something or like turn off the setting that you had set for something special and just like mess it all up and it'll all be ruined, and it's just like
you can't mess up anything I couldn't fix.
Okay, well that's good to know. Yeah,
a lot of them don't even have presets like
if he breaks my synthesizer, you're gonna
you break Sam's.
Well, it's not really break, but I guess that was the question I had because I really know nothing about it, so I didn't know if things are like set up in a way that if I like did something, it would like mess up something you had intentionally put there, and that would be a problem for you. I don't know.
No, I mean you could. I guess you could like overwrite a preset or something, and it's fine. I can.
Well, if you go into the global settings, mess up the.
How would you mess up a synthesizer? Yeah, but
that happened to me recently. I downloaded the new firmware on the Matriarch. Harrison Street came over and helped me like tune everything up and made sure everything was good. And there was a moment where he's like, okay, I've got the new firmware on there. Do you want to like reset the MIDI just to make sure everything's cool? And in my mind, I was like, don't do that. But then I second guessed it and I was like, well, I don't use any of those settings. Yeah, just reset it. And then I use like the polyphony. I forget like polyunison or something, where you can play the 4 notes at once, but if you only play one, all 4 voices automatically play that one note. And then that stopped happening automatically, and it drove me nuts. On the very last episode of this live stream, I spent the jam like, why can't I get this unison happening? but I did fix it. So I'm
But
gonna.
you'd have to like try to do something and then have it go wrong. Like it'd be hard to like accidentally change the settings on it. Like
Yeah,
if
you
it's,
got to
like,
get in there and press
button-
like 3 buttons at once.
honestly, that kind of drives me nuts. Honestly, on the matriarch, like I do love the matriarch, but the fact that there are all these settings that you have to do this kind of intricate procedure of like look up the manual, now hold this button and that button, now play a C3. Wait, oh no, that's a C2. Oh god, I've ruined everything. You know, like
Totally, yeah.
it's a little it's a little annoying. But
There's already a bunch of switches and knobs and stuff. Put a round robin switch on there.
Yeah.
Put a that's pretty much the only other one I use.
Are you listening, fellow in music engineers? Just put a button on it.
Put a button on it. Do you guys have any dangling threads? Anything else?
So I have one
say?
really
Okay.
burning question that I've been like wondering about as you're like talking about things I really don't know anything about.
Uh-huh.
Why do you have a bracelet that says potato?
I do indeed have a bracelet named Potato that my friend Liz gave me. Liz McGrath, and my cat's name is Potato.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you
Yeah,
for
great.
answering that as a personal question that I just really wanted to know. All
Yeah,
right.
no, of course.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
daughter has a cat named Potato.
Yeah, that's,
at her
What?
mom's house.
No
Yeah.
way.
No, it's kind
Interesting.
of funny. Yeah.
That is funny. That's my current life partner, Potato.
Okay.
I do love her a lot. I wish she could be on the live stream, but she's not allowed in the studio. I did want to do one more thing before we go, though.
Yeah. What's that?
Okay, so I would like for you to clap 8th notes, and then I want you to clap 2, and I'll
Okay.
clap 3.
Okay. So
All right. Are we
All right,
going?
yeah,
for it?
you start
yeah,
first.
Yeah.
wait, am I doing like? Am I
You're
no,
doing
that's
4.
one. Am I doing 2 or like 2 8th notes or?
Yeah, so coordinates. That is so satisfying to me.
But then what would be fun is like speed that up and see what harmony it's making, because if it's doing like whole number ratios that are like closely related, it's going to give you some kind of chord.
Totally, that would be a power chord, right? That would be an octave and a
Yeah,
fifth.
no, yeah, it would be exactly an octave and a fifth.
If we nailed it, so let us know. All right, thank you. You guys nailed being here. I'm delighted that.
Yeah,
you
thank
stopped
thank
by.
you for including me. I just want to say I think this is maybe the second time in my life I've like spoken into a microphone, and it
Of
wasn't
course.
bad. It was all right. So I know I don't have as much to contribute as Jim does about these subjects, but it was a good experience for me. I can be super shy, but that's one thing I'm actually really challenging myself to do. Is just not worry so much about those things. And so even though it seems like a really small thing and I know I didn't contribute a whole lot, it's actually kind of a huge thing for me. Jim knows this, you know.
I'm delighted to hear
And
that.
it was kind of, even, I didn't really know we were doing this, and I was like, I might just back out. I might back out. I'm probably not going to do this. And so, but I was like, I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to challenge myself. So thank you. I really appreciate being included. That was fantastic.
No, thank you for coming on. I really did
Yeah.
value your input. I was glad to have, you guys are in this project together. So
Yeah, absolutely.
glad to have you both here and to hear your perspective, from your side of the work too.
Great.
And I completely feel you. I mean, one of the reasons I do this is to make myself talk and get
Yeah.
less shy.
Yeah. Well,
Totally.
you're doing a great job. This is a sweet setup you got.
I'll
and
go on.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
I
you.
do want to state for the record that Karen plays a mean shofar.
So he actually doesn't know this, but I play the clarinet, but I'd say really well. I've been.
She won't play in front of me.
I'm very shy about it, but I love it. It's something I love to do. Just on my
okay.
own. It's just a real soul thing for me. It's like one of these days I will get out, but it's a little intimidating when. And I did when I was younger. I was a saxophone player. I was actually really good at that too. But then I didn't do that for 2 decades plus or something. And so just like kind of right a little bit before I moved here, I picked up the clarinet and I was really into it when I was just like living by myself, but then there were other people, and so I was too shy. So it's
Yeah.
but I do love it. I love music, and
Are you
yeah.
do you love improvising around, or are you?
Yeah, I
reading through stuff?
improvise. I mean, I
Okay.
can I used to be able to read music fairly well, at least treble clef, but I still can, but I don't do that. I just like, yeah, I love to improvise. It's just like whatever comes out of the soul, and it's a really fun just way to express yourself, even if you're not expressing yourself to anyone else. Sometimes it just feels good to do it. So that's what I like about it. And yeah, if I had known though, I think I would have brought it. I don't know, I just didn't know that was a thing. So
I wish I'll have to have you guys back. Yeah,
I'll do it sometime.
yeah.
And she really does play shofar very well.
What is a shofar?
Oh, it's like
There's not a ton of skill involved.
no, you were
it's,
natural. Like the first time you
it's,
picked it up, like I was like, it's like a horn, like literally like
a literal horn.
of an
Yeah,
animal.
yeah.
It's like
I see.
a Jewish. They use them in like the synagogues and stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of African cultures also use these. Yeah,
A chauffeur.
That's different. No,
No,
yeah,
that's a
shofar.
Chauffeur. Okay.
Yeah,
No, you could have like a chauffeur. No, never mind.
Somebody driving
Some
around.
point-
Yeah.
A
Classic.
chauffeur chauffeur.
Your ride's here.
yeah. No, we need to bust those out soon. We both have one. We played them in a parade, in a Christmas parade.
Yeah.
That was a weird time. I feel like that was like the weirdest thing the Asheville Christmas parade has
Yeah.
ever had. Was like,
Well,
oh yeah, okay, you got a good one. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm probably wrong.
Well,
wrong.
no, there was the time that my friend Kitty
Oh, was that a
organized.
Christmas
yeah,
parade?
there
I
was-
didn't realize that. Okay, yeah, that'd be
That's
tough.
all. There was a. All right,
What
it's a
happened?
short
Keep
story. All
going
right,
for it,
so yeah, all right. And I wish Kitty was here to tell the story because this is like a secondhand story, but basically, she was involved with some like an art space like a studio space where there were a lot of belly dancers that participated, and every year the belly dancers would dance in the on a float in the Christmas parade. And one year the Christmas parade got taken over by an organizer who was sort of a more puritanical bent, and she raised some concerns about belly dancers and was being very vague about what was acceptable and what wasn't. And Kitty pushed her on this and was like, well, okay, what do you mean like not wholesome? I think it was not wholesome came into it, and like my friend was
It's
not.
a dangerous word. What did I call wholesome? Singing together.
Yeah.
That is wholesome.
That is
yeah.
wholesome. I think what was inferred was that belly dancers
dancing
was
not so wholesome. Yeah.
So she pushed her on like, okay, what do you exactly what do you mean is not wholesome? And she said, well, women's exposed midriff, whatever, belly. So she was like, okay, now Kitty is like, something of a this is I consider this like a great example of like malicious compliance. There's like a whole there's a subreddit called malicious compliance.
Nice.
I love it's like this kind of thing. But so that year the Future Traditions float, which was the name of the studio that she ran, they had all of the they had belly dancers that were basically in like burqas, like completely covered, and then a group of like pagan Pictish warriors, basically guys, because she had said women's belly is not exposed, so she had a group of men with like kind of leather, like pagan warrior clothing accompanying these women that were covered in kind of Islamic garb. And
Must have been so
in the Christmas
confusing for
parade.
the random.
I feel like that's like a really good example of, like, everybody talks about passive aggressive. This is a really good example of aggressive passiveness. It's just like I like that. Okay,
What do you
and
even do?
I
at
may
that
have screwed
point?
up that
Yeah.
story, by the way, Kitty, if you're listening and I just told that
well,
wrong.
that's a fun story.
Send in your corrections to
Yeah.
The Urban Music Studio. Come on, yeah. We can start like a dramatic back and forth where she's on the next episode. Like, no, that's not what happened.
lies, damned lies.
Oh, and Kitty and Cat Shepherd are gonna have an awesome series coming up called Tools of the Tarot on some Sundays coming up at the Well. So if you're into some witchy shit, these ladies know their stuff, and you should come out.
Plenty
Do
of
this
stuff to
thing.
catch at the well. Where
Yeah,
do people
yeah.
find it? Facebook, Instagram?
Yes. So we Facebook, Instagram, the Well, Asheville. We haven't launched it yet, but in a couple days the wellasheville.com will be up and running.
Mm-hmm.
Or come by and see us. We're at 3 Louisiana Avenue.
Are there just hours, like visiting hours?
There's not official like hours, but there's a list of classes and events on the door, and you can come see what's happening. Also, a great way to do it is to come during the business hours at Mountain Magic and check out the store. I think they're there Tuesday through Saturday. Kind
12
of
to
normal.
6 is
12 to
their
6.
normal. Sometimes they're there kind of outside their stated business hours, but those are the
Yeah.
official hours.
Okay, cool. Dropping the website for the grand opening.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And then Surreal Circus is not necessarily connected, but
Yeah, there's
another big project.
There's
that
a
you
lot
guys
of
are
overlap.
involved in.
Yeah, so very the sort of, I don't know how we're doing on time or whatever. But
We're over. I don't know why I brought it up, but you did say that you want to talk about
tell
it.
me about this very huge thing so the short version, so Surreal Circus, the Surreal Circus Arts Festival is happening on October 28th, Saturday afternoon from 1 to 10 p.m. down at Pack Square Park. We're in the sort of big the green area over by the amphitheater where Splashville is, and where a lot of bigger shows happen. And so we have a day-long festival with bands and DJs and art installations and vendors and beer and food and all kinds of standard festival fare, but also a very unique theatrical experience called the Surreal Circus, which is the sort of the peak of the night around sunset. We do this kind of elaborate production that involves live music with lots of circus arts and fire spinners and different performance elements, lots of interesting kind of stuff going on with puppetry and projections, and it's going to be a really cool show. That's October 28th. Yeah, could talk for another hour about that if you want to, but
Well, unfortunately, let's play some music. I am aching to play some music.
Let's do it.
So yeah, everybody, this has been Asheville 8 Note with Jim and Karen Genaro. That almost rhymes. But thank you so much for being here. I'm Sam Irvin. Yeah, check out the Patreon. I guess I don't have to say all the stuff I said up top, but this is a podcast. If you made it this far for a video, but now you have to go to work, just put on the podcast and you can listen to the music. If you're watching on Instagram Live, you do have to change platforms because I'm going to turn that off. That's just for the interview, and the music sounds better through YouTube or Facebook or something like that. I think that's all, but I am going to say out loud that I know how from over here to cut to black, but I don't know how to turn the audio off, so I'm going to cut to black. But I do want to overtly tell you guys that the audio will still be live, so we don't say anything like
inappropriate.
Yeah.
unwholesome. But yeah, thanks again, and we will be right back after a brief break to play some synthesizers.
All right.
With a real pro too. All right. Cut to black. Boom. My ears are so hot.
Yeah, that's a weird feeling. Yeah.
What are you gonna play? Me?
Yeah.
Maybe the matriarch through like all this stuff. Yeah, I think over here.
Is everything hooked up?